Hello and welcome to our 12th edition of the Complete Update. And for the first time, we're doing a recorded version, which will involve myself, Lee Ashley, the Managing Director, and the Senior Management Team at Complete, discussing sort of articles that we'll be issuing out for you to review. As we know, the past few months have been a challenge for everyone due to COVID pandemic, but things do appear to be on the up in our view, with normality beginning to be restored across certainly the UK markets in terms of activity, and other markets such as Berlin seem to have a positive effect. We're also looking at our expansion into the likes of Lisbon and Leipzig, which we're going to talk about a bit later. In this edition, we'll bring updates across the business, including sort of completed projects like the Loom in Manchester, which has been fantastic, a market update on Berlin, and also be talking about River Wandle, a project in London that will shortly completing also, as well as legislation changes on things like the new electrical safety standards in the private rented sector. As we continue to navigate ourselves through the current challenges, we've really focused on trying to keep all our clients updated in Complete and our business operations. What's been really good is we've managed to maintain our offices being reopened in London and Manchester, albeit staff have worked on a rota basis, but fully operational in terms of headcount. We obviously will keep reviewing that, but the best news has been that we've been able to conduct property viewings on all our vacant properties, and obviously on selected units now that have had tenants in once access has been granted, which has enabled us to focus on getting occupancy for our landlords. We can all agree the past few months have been a challenge, but when we start reviewing sort of activity within the market, there's definitely some very big positives to highlight. Applicant numbers across the UK office network on average are 77% higher compared to the same period last year, and applicant engagement is also 24% higher compared to the same period. Good Lord, our referencing agency, also confirmed that in July we had another 58 new tenancies that were created, bringing our total for 2020 to 405 as of the end of July. So certainly activity has remained strong as we've navigated the current situation. I'm going to pass you across to my colleagues Anna Langford, Sam Tabor and Nicola Smith, who will go through the rest of our update. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Lee. I'm going to talk about Berlin. As a business, we've been operating in Berlin since 2017. Our portfolio there continues to grow and we continue to offer an excellent service for our clients. So this year we've recently completed the tenanting of Constanza and House Brandenburg developments, and we're now moving on to some new developments in Berlin which are due to complete between now and the end of the year. The River Gardens is the first one that I want to tell you about. We've actually handed over about half of the units there as we speak, and we're installing kitchens as well. We've already secured offers on 3 units, so demand has been very high, and in some cases we're achieving over the original rental estimates for that development. The feedback from the team is that tenants love the development and its position on the river as well. The second one that we expect to complete in the next month or so is in Kuhstrasse. Now this is more central in the district of Schöneberg, and again we expect this to be popular with tenants. Demand still outstrips supply in Berlin, and this is a more central one, so we expect it to appeal more to the international rental community. Lastly, we have the development of Strahler Allee. This is a mixture of old and new builds, again in a very up and coming area of Berlin that's becoming more and more gentrified. These units are large and spacious, and we're working with our furniture suppliers and with our kitchen fit out companies to make sure that the units are ready for tenanting as soon as possible after completion. So that's it for Berlin. I think now my colleague Sam is going to talk about a new development that we've got coming up in London.
Yes, thank you, Anna. River Wandle is on the horizon. I understand that notices are due to be served there imminently. A colleague visited around 2 weeks ago, and these are some of the photos that were taken at the time of the inside of one of the split level apartments there. We're really excited about this one. We've only a small amount of units in comparison to some other projects that we've dealt with, but it's likely to be in huge demand. We have a project nearby which was huge in the scheme of things, and that was the old gasworks, where we have 2 buildings, Tavernel House and Charlotte House, and we've had huge success there. The demand for those apartments is massive, so we expect similar interest in River Wandle being so close. So once notices are served, we'll be popping along to do the snagging of the apartments, where we'll wander through and ensure that everything is how it should be in terms of the specifications. We'll be looking for defects throughout all of the apartments and then reporting those back to the developer. The developer then has a window between those notices being served and completion to hopefully rectify those problems, and we'll continue to work with them to have those addressed. Our marketing team are geared up, and we're ready to begin introducing tenants for them as soon as we possibly can. And we'll be advertising on all of the major website portals, including our own. And we've had a huge amount of success locally. Despite the issues with COVID, we're still very active. Our lettings team are fully back and operational in the office on a full-time basis. So we have no concerns about finding tenants for these in good time. The rents are reasonable for the location, so we're looking between £750 to £905 per calendar month, depending on obviously the flat size, layout, and any other such factors. And the yields are varying between upwards of 3.65% and 5.37%, which is very healthy and in line with the locality as well. So I'm really excited. Hope to get our hands on this one soon and start finding tenants for them.
Thank you, Sam. So I'm going to just talk briefly about the new markets that we'll be entering in the next 6 months. So the first one is Lisbon in Portugal. This is a new market for Complete off the back of investments that our sister company IP Global have been doing in Lisbon and in Porto as well. Now, I was lucky enough to visit Lisbon at the end of last year, and we did a site visit to Bella Vista, which is the first development that's due to complete. And as the name suggests, there are beautiful views from the development. So this is really exciting for us. It's a new market, and one which we expect to be popular with both our clients from an investment point of view and also from a tenanting point of view. We were able to see the final finishes and meet with the developer as well. We have signed a partnership arrangement with a local agent in Lisbon that also covers Porto. And nearer the time, we will be contacting clients who are purchasing here to introduce them to this agent that we've selected to carry out the handover, find tenants, and also manage the project. Next is Leipzig. Leipzig is in Germany, and it's one of the fastest growing city in Germany. This is our first development here. It's 7 units that we've got, and we'll have under management in this new development. We are working with our Berlin-based agent, who has a partner agent in Leipzig, to be able to facilitate this for our clients. Demand has already been strong for this development. We've already been able to get some tentative offers, and at the moment we're just waiting for the project to complete so that we can start to finalise them and ensure our owners get a tenant as soon as possible after completion. So that's it from me in terms of new markets.
Thank you, Emma. So we're constantly striving as a business to try and make improvements to the service that we deliver. And one of the ways that we can do that is via software and automation. We've been looking at a product for some time now, and we're pleased to confirm that we've finally partnered with them. And from the 1st of November, we will be using a product called FixFlow. The product's designed to improve the way that we handle maintenance. And as a result, what we will be doing is when we have a maintenance issue being reported by a tenant, it can be directed through this platform. The whole idea of it is to improve the speed of the fixes. There's 24/7 reporting, so anytime our tenants can log on to the platform, even outside of office hours, to report issues. And as a result, we hope that it's going to improve the communication along that process, from the point that the tenant contacts us to us referring the matter to the landlord, and then subsequently the contractor being instructed. There is an opportunity for tenants to report maintenance issues in over 40 different languages. So around 40% of the tenants that we have in London are from overseas, so they can report maintenance issues in their native language, and the report comes back out to us in English. There are auto chases to the contractors, so if the contractors are not speedy enough to reply and book the appointment for the repair, then they'll automatically be reminded and to invoice. Other advantages include an option for us to check the compliance of our contractors and thus ensure that we have quality contractors on board at all times. And it's easier for the contractors to use. So when they receive a report, there's far more detail than there might ordinarily be reported to them, and they can post their invoices back onto the platform for speed once the job's been done. So from the 1st of November, we'll be rolling this out to our tenants and getting them onboarded with the process, and I'm sure our clients will benefit from the more detailed reports that will come out the other side, and having happier tenants with speedier maintenance repairs done, and thus avoiding unhappy tenants and potentially permissive waste issues, i.e. essentially if a maintenance issue starts to worsen and have an impact on other areas of the property.
Thank you, Sam. I'll go through our legislation update and a quick recap on where our development in Manchester, the Loom, now is. The new electrical safety standards regulations are in effect, and they are applicable to all new tenancies as of July 1st and existing tenancies from the 1st of April next year. Landlords must have all of the electrical installations in their properties inspected and tested by a person who is qualified and competent at least every 5 years. Landlords will be required to provide a copy of this report to their tenants and also to their local authority if requested. The breach of this regulation could result in financial penalties of up to £30,000. Where your property is managed by Complete, we'll ensure that we are arranging the report for you in a timely fashion, and we'll also ensure that all tenants are receiving a copy of it in order to adhere to the regulations. You would have received correspondence about this already, and where a report's due, your property manager will be in touch with you to get that organised. Moving on to our development in Manchester, the Loom. Completions at the Loom occurred back in March, just a few days before the UK went into a full lockdown. Our team have been working incredibly hard to ensure that the handovers were still achieved, the furnishings are in the property as quickly as they could be, and that as soon as we were able, we were doing live viewings. As of the end of July, we've achieved an average rental yield of 4.99%, and we have an average rent being achieved of £877.22. We've achieved an average of 96% rent versus the cash flow across all of the units we've let, and as of July we had let 50% of the units. We've had 3 very successful paid lead generation campaigns which were run through Facebook and social media channels, and they pushed through a lot of new applicants which we've managed to convert into tenants. We've also seen a bit of a variation on previous marketing and applications, whereby the 1-beds that did used to be very popular are now not as popular, and we're seeing that the lower price point 2-bed properties are where most applicants are looking. I'm assuming this is because people are looking for more space or are working from home and need that second room, but where we can, we've managed to let most of those, and now it's the higher price point 2-beds and some of the 1-bed properties that we have still remaining to let. We currently have 10 1-bedroom properties and 17 2-bedroom properties left to tenants across the whole development. We're still seeing a high number of applicants coming through our portals, and we're looking to run a 4th paid lead generation campaign to ensure that the final units are let as quickly as possible. Thank you for listening to our update. I hope it's been very useful for you, and enjoy the rest of your day.